Moving on to our next subject, which is Oscar Isaac. It's about to get dummy thick. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I said it. He about to get extra thick.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm sorry.
I said it. I know you weren't. I know you weren't. That's why I said it, because I caught you off guard. That's why I said it. And Casio trying not to look at the camera.
Well, I mean,
he's about to get dummy thick because he got casted in a Solid Snake in a Metal Gear Solid movie. So Casio, this one was yours. Take it away.
Okay. Thank y'all. I'm excited. I get to talk about Mr. Hideo Kojima, which I believe, if you don't know who the person is, I believe he's the greatest storyteller in gaming history. He wrote the Metal Gear Solid series. He wrote Snatcher back in '94, Police Naught sequel to that. You know what I'm saying? He was the front. He was the person that created the song. It was just recent. It starred Norman Reedus. Death Stranding.
That the game that didn't make sense.
Death Stranding. I never got a chance to play Death Stranding. I literally have the game because I just want to buy anything that has Hideo Kojima's name on it. You know what I'm saying? But I do have the game, but I haven't even started it yet. But I'm pretty sure it's very intricate. But
very niche.
So Arthur Issac already casted as Solid Snake for the Metal Gear film. So this film doesn't have like a release date. It doesn't have all the information out there that we would like to know about it. But all I know is the director. Was it Jordan Vogt Roberts is his name, I believe. But
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Jordan Vogt Roberts is the director for the film, and he's been fighting for a while to make sure he gets like a story accurate Metal Gear movie.
Mm-hmm.
He says he doesn't want, he wants to make it like Metal Gear because the story is apparently really, really important to him and all that. And as a filmmaker, he said that's what he wants to do is go after making sure he recreates the experience he had with Metal Gear Solid and turn it into like movie form,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I love Metal Gear. I love the Metal Gear franchise, and I guess I knew that eventually people would catch on to how good these stories are. And video games, you know what? Honestly, because I think I'm gonna go into tangents and stuff too with my time here, but whatever. I honestly believe
I did a whole rant. You understand me? I did a whole 20-minute rant. Go ahead. You are good.
Oh, don't you get me started. I'm talking about Hideo.
Hey,
that's my guy. Okay,
I'm hyping you up, G. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so Hideo Kojima apparently has somewhat repaired his relationship with Konami, and they're moving forward with this film, as well as there's talks of him reviving Silent Hills, another game that was released as PT back in 2014, and Norman Reedus was a star in that as well. But something happened between Konami and Hideo Kojima. They had some bad blood, and they separated, and the project was never recovered or finished.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's rumors of Hideo Kojima now working back on Silent Hills with Sony Entertainment and Konami. So that's another thing that I just think is phenomenal, that Hideo is now kind of getting some shine. But them already having a cast, already having a main character for the Metal Gear Solid film, I think is a great step forward, because I don't know, I think there's so many stories out there that's only told through the video game platform that a lot of the masses, they don't get to see. And you know what I'm saying? And there's a stigma. I think there's a stigma around video game movies. But
because they've been genuinely terrible. A lot of them been genuinely terrible.
Yeah, they have been trash. they like historically, they're all trash. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple of there's
a few exceptions.
5% success rate.
Yeah, but it's just overall video game movies is just, they've not been respected as real, like cinema or whatever. And I just want so badly for somebody to just take these stories that are being told, in video game format and turn them into these big blockbuster films, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's basically what they are. You know what I mean? They're basically films. you know, that it's interactive films. You're interacting with the story. You're just having an interactive film, you know what I'm saying, kind of play before you. So to you know, have that experience, to have people feel like what I felt when I first played through Metal Gear Solid, you know, to have other folks feel that, I think is, you know, is significant, you know.
Indeed. And just for anybody that's wondering, Jordan Roberts. So I was trying to look and see what other movies he made. He hasn't made too many, but I think most notably and most recently he made Kong Skull Island, which actually was, in my opinion, was pretty good for. It was good for a Kong movie. It was pretty good. So that's the most notable one. And then obviously everybody should know who Oscar Isaac is. He seems to be the man. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of new movies, but I think most people know him. He was Poe in the most recent Star Wars trilogy. So, and he's also going to be in Dune. He plays a main character in Dune as well. That's upcoming next year. So he's hot on the actor. You know, he's been recruited for a lot of movies recently, it seems. So I think I have to admit, when I read the announcement, I kind of didn't see it at first. He doesn't, because like Solid Snake is very rustic. You know what I'm saying? He's very rustic. He's very no nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And it's looking at, obviously, I have to see what it looks like, because I'm not going to lie, even though I love him to death, he is the husband that I dream of every night. But I didn't see Henry Cavill as Geralt. I didn't see it. Like I was like, what? And I know that Henry Cavill is a big fan of the stories. He's even played the video games. Like, and he was the one who pitched it and wanted to bring The Witcher to life. You know what I'm saying? But I did not see it. He didn't look like, when I picture Geralt of Rivia, I don't picture him. You know what I'm saying? So watching him.
So it was like, even after the show, you still felt that?
Well, no. What I was getting ready to say is, watching him though, I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? I felt okay watching it, but like, even seeing, when a lot of the pictures came out, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still was skeptical, but he did a fantastic job. So it's like, I'm now with Oscar Isaac about to be Solid Snake. I'm trying to hold my reserve, because in my head, I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I see it, but it's not that I've never been proven wrong. So I'm going to hold it and just hope that he does a really, good ass portrayal. So
I mean, Oscar Isaac, he's a great actor. I mean, I feel like knowing Hideo. I'm not sure how much creative control Hideo has in the film or whatever. I'm not really sure, but I guess I feel like Hideo is the kind of person that will give you Easter eggs. You know what I mean? In his work, that like he is maison scène. You know what I'm saying? To death. He does things that you have to see visually in order to understand the message. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see him. I could see Hideo dropping little Easter eggs in the film that kind of like tie back to his games. You know what I'm saying? I could completely see that happening. That's a fun thing. You know what I'm saying? For people who like Hideo's stories. You know what I mean? I knew that eventually Hideo would start getting involved in just films, because playing his games is like playing films. Like the game I told you about. Actually, this game here. Oh, not that one. This one, Snatcher. That's my favorite game of all time. I was introduced to that game like in 1996 or something like that. But it's a Hideo Kojima game. And it's one of the best stories that I've ever played through myself. I played through the game. I played through Snatcher probably once every, I'm gonna say 4 years or so. I just play it again. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things that, because I just he's such a great storyteller, and that story right there is just my favorite story I've ever played in a gaming console. But I'm sorry to rant about this, but
no, you're
I love Hideo Kojima, and I'm just ready for him to see, the day where he's appreciated for his storytelling. You know what I'm saying? He's appreciated for his stories. So like, this is like one of those things where it's a step forward by him getting that. Sorry about that, Black Mama. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, I was getting ready to say, so the other side of that is kind of the video game movie curse, right? Because like, for those of us who've been playing, like we've seen happen with countless video game movies. You know what I'm saying? We've been
Countless.
playing it. You know, we love the stories. Some of us read the lore behind. Like if you're a Destiny fan, you read. There's like whole like fan fictions. There's lores and fan fictions. You know, with Destiny. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's like then if a movie gets made,
it's just one of those things where, you know, you kind of have to just take it for what it is and just hope for the best that they do mess around and do get better, and hopefully they do break that video game based movie curse. Because I mean, we all thought Assassin's Creed was going to break the curse, but we saw what happened with that. So you know, and you know, kind of just to piggyback off what you were saying, Cassio, and you know, there's also been other rumblings Kojima related, like with I'm pretty sure you've been hearing about this, but supposedly with them getting good graces, it's possible, like nothing's been confirmed yet, but it's possible that they're supposedly remaking the original Metal Gear Solid as a PS5 exclusive.
Yes, I did hear about that. Yep.
So that might be possible, and of course, you know, like you said, like he may be back to do Silent Hills. You know, again, so the thing is that like he's, and obviously doesn't hurt that the movie's under Columbia Pictures too, owned by Sony. So you know, apparently Kojima has gotten in a really good position with Sony for this to be able to move forward. Because I mean, again, Metal Gear was Kojima's baby.
Yeah,
like that's his baby. Period. Like it's just like he wasn't comfortable with them just making a movie for his stuff. Like he like vehemently refused anyone to touch his shit and make it into a movie if he wasn't comfortable with it. So like I think that maybe it was something that they were able to work with him and was like, hey, because I think like a lot of us that are Kojima fans know that he wanted to make movies originally and literally took the love of that and just did it in video game form.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of video games feel like fucking cinematic movies.
Yeah.
So it's to see this happen, and more than likely they're going to have to be involved because I mean, of course, like, who better to be a part of like any type of production than the person who created it? Like,
right, and the director is like really dead set on trying to like, you know, make an accurate Metal Gear Solid film. But the thing is, I guess, speaking on you, and I'm sorry, speaking on what you said about the video game curse, video game movie curse, right?
Yeah,
it's almost because I think that like people didn't take video game films seriously, so they didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like they really took these stories, you know what I'm saying, to heart and took them serious enough to really like put a lot into them to make sure they're good, you know? Like, I mean, dude, one of the worst, dear God, Double Dragon. I don't know if anybody. Oh my God. I don't know if anybody.
I feel like we have to exclude movies that came out like back then because so
we can't
because also because also a lot of those movies were made around the actor more so than the content. Like the content was important, but you have a lot of movies that came out that like look at Street Fighter.
Yeah, around Jean-Claude Van Damme, right?
That was a typical Van Damme film, yes.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and then you have Raul Julia too, who was was in Bison. So I mean, it was more so the actors versus. I mean, not always. I can't say always. Not always. No, not always, Cassio. Not always. But sometimes it was. Me and Fallen Marvel argued over this one a little bit. But Angelina Jolie and Tomb Raider, that was definitely made around her.
Was definitely, yeah, absolutely. Okay, because that's how
movies. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Not at all. Not at all. Me neither.
So
you know what I'm saying? That's true, but it still doesn't change. Like even by that happening, the films were still bad. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying. No. That's what my point is that like when you had mentioned about how they might not care, or about the video, they might have, but I think they were gearing it more around the star. You know what I'm saying? Versus the actual content in some instances.
Right.
You know
and that's like the problem. Like that's like the issue. You know?
So with video being involved, we made it, hopefully we won't have that problem. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you, I trust Hideo Kojima when it comes to storytelling. Like he hasn't let me down. You know what I'm saying? As of yet. He literally hasn't let me down. And he created two of my favorite games of all time, Snatcher and Metal Gear Solid Part 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really argue when it comes to his ability, you know what I'm saying, to like deliver the story. You know, I can't argue with that. And I'm really like, my mind is I'm racking my brain on who's gonna play all the other people in the story. You got Meryl.
I was thinking about that too, because the thing is, there's so many unique characters that story has, and it's like, dude, who is going to be able to really bring these other characters to life? Because I mean, I don't know if they're going to do it this way or just have somebody else do it. I know technically they could do it with someone else. It's just like someone like the opposite of the kid, like Liquid. Like Liquid just had like such a type of personality that was just like, I don't know, like he was like completely like the opposite of Solid Snake, and it was just like he just, you know, granted, I mean, he was like obviously over the top villain, but it was something about it that just worked, and the fact that he was like so opposite of Snake, and then of course you got
all right.
Yeah, and then of course, like you got the other characters, Vulcan Raven, Psycho Mantis.
Come on, Gray Fox.
You know, Gray Fox. It's like, dude, it's like, dude, like all these characters. It's so crazy to where like almost every character, especially bad guys, are so memorable. Like, dude, who is going to be able to fill the shoes of this character? And like, especially Revolver Ocelot. Like, who is going to do that and do it well? Like. It's like, cause you know, like Revolver Ocelot is that dude, man. Like,
oh, that shit, dude, yo. my homie is Gray Fox and Liquid Snake, man. Cause Liquid people like, you're too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happened. I did it. I got him. How about you, Snake?
That was so
I need classic kind of 80s lines up in there. Like I need the 90s lines. I need it all. You know, I need some of the old school. I need some of that old school Arnold Schwarzenegger 90s music coming in at the end. You know what I mean? In the beginning when he in the chopper. You know what I'm saying? Like I need that old school joint.
And I want to have that thing where you got that banter between like the villain and the hero, and he's like, ha, Snake, you know, it's like that shit is hilarious. I love that stuff or whatever. But yo, David Hayter has to be somewhere in the film. He's got to be something like a voice.
Somebody.
He's got to do something, man, because I mean. I don't know. I just like I say, Hideo Kojima is good for like giving us what we want. But if I hear Oscar Isaac be like, yeah, she's got a great butt, you know, I'm done. Like this, hey, you know what I'm saying? That's the
only reason I'm going. That's the only reason. I need bloopers. I need extra big bloopers. Like that's the only reason I'm watching. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to figure out because I mean the voice for Solid Snake is a trope. It's a thing. You know what I mean? Like the voice that David Hayter gives Solid Snake is literally a great part of like the personality of Solid Snake. You know what I mean? So I mean, Oscar Isaac has to do something with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, of course, she's not going to sound like David Hayter, but you know, just some kind of a voice, I suppose, is really going to give it that grungy, that gritty like feel. You know what I mean?
Because there's what? So there's a Nathan Drake movie coming out. Monster Hunter World is coming out, and honestly, I feel like you can't get Monster Hunter wrong. It's all pretty much gonna be CGI anyway, and guns and shooting and try. But it's like, what plot? Like, what plot you gonna like? Like, is it gonna be like a Jurassic Park thing, but somebody's trying to steal the DNA and take? You know, like I mean, like what? Like I don't understand how you add a plot to Monster Hunter.
It's gonna be another excuse to make Mila Djokovic like just super badass out of nowhere. Like, the thing where using like the fucking like dual like the dual bone swords or whatever and all that. I'm like, wait a minute, because it's like, look, I know it's like, look, if as long as they get the designs of the monsters right, like that's the only thing people can really like hope for. If they do that, and if they at least incorporate some of like the hunting strategies in there, then okay, cool. But
because there's nothing else you really gonna be able to do with that.
It's not, Because if
It's
it's just
not-
going to be another action romp like the last 5 Resident Evil movies, it's going to be the same thing, except there's going to be dinosaur-like monsters in it. And it's
So-
like, I'm just, it's like, look, Mila Djokovic seems like she's a really cool person in real life. Like, I'm going to just like say that, like, I hate her.
But you like just stop giving her work. Is that what you're saying, Fallen Marvel? Just stop giving her work.
It's kind of been nepotism because, like, pretty much most movies she's been has been with her director husband. So, like, that's nepotism like a mug. So,
Listen, if I married a director, I got job security. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what happened. Like, you know, she's securing the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, you marry Oprah, you always gonna be able to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You right?
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
But we are, so I just really quick, and then we got to move on to our last subject. But I have to admit, I have not played Metal Gear in a while. I think I played the first 3, and then I didn't play anything after. I kind of fell off after it, and I know a lot of the characters that got introduced, but I have to admit, I haven't played in a long time. But I still know who Solid Snake is. You know what I'm saying? And he's very Solid Snake is an iconic character. I mean, he's been around for a long time, and even if you never played like all the games, because there weren't a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much, I mean, he's up there with like Master Chief and all of them as far as like legacy characters, you know, characters that you are kind of like household names. That's what I mean. Yeah. So
don't play Survive. Survive is
exactly.
irrelevant.
So I am actually looking forward to this too, because Hideo is involved. If he wasn't involved, I think I would be side-eyeing it, because I just like, I'm not really hyped. No offense to Nathan Drake, but I'm not really hyped about it. Like, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And Monster Hunter, it's like, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, it's like I was hyped about Assassin's Creed, and then they fucked it up. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, you know,
I mean, it was
it's almost like they waited. Like, this is not the right time, I think, to drop, you know, like, Nathan Drake, because it's like Uncharted is not on anybody's radar at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, and there's so many other things happening too. It's like Nathan Drake, like, it's kind of cool that they're doing it, but it's like,
I'll watch it when it comes on Netflix.
Yeah,
you know that's why I got Netflix. You know, but this one I am looking forward to. So here's the finger crossing. And again, I liked Kong. I like Kong Island. Skull Island. I actually like
Skull Island was dope.
So I mean, so if it's the same director, we just might be able to get this one like a super thumbs up if he puts the same effort into it. Because Kong Skull Island was tight. So as long as we don't have Samuel L. Jackson throwing out weird one-liners that don't make no fucking sense, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. So I mean, but it's all good.
I mean, obviously, Jordan was the fan, obviously. So
okay. So we are moving on to our final subject of the night, which is honestly one of my favorite subjects, is Greek mythology, and how Greek mythology is not a ripoff of Egyptian mythology. So, Toku Terry, hopefully you still there. We didn't lose you. We didn't lose you.
No, I'm still here. Yeah.
Go ahead and take it away.
If you want to be specific, Greek mythology comes from and is mostly based on what's known as Proto-Indo-European mythology, which is this ancient culture. That's actually where a lot of the Greek gods get their names from. Like Zeus's name is literally from Proto-Indo-European. It is literally just the Greek version of the Proto-Indo-European word. Hold on, this is a hard word. Heus, which is literally the same god, but basically, a long time ago, there was the Proto-Indo-European people. They migrated throughout the continent. They split into two groups. What became the modern day Indian people and what became much of what would become European people. Like, I'm overgeneralizing, but we don't have time for all this, so I'm going to break it down. Basically, the reason why Greek mythology is so similar to Mesopotamian mythology is because they came from the same source, and then once they started evolving, Greeks just wholesale started ripping the Mesopotamians off. That's why you have things like, I don't know, Indra, the goddess of love, from Mesopotamian mythology, having the exact same speech that Aphrodite gives in the Iliad, like literally the same speech, word for word. Um, several myth- several Greek stories being adaptations of Mesopotamian stories. Oh, the fact that the Greek freaking zodiac is literally just the Mesopotamian zodiac. Like, it is not even a metaphor. It's literally the exact same zodiac. They just changed up the stories connected to the stars, but they stole the
Right.
zodiac like wholesale. Like, have you ever wondered why Sagittarius is like a horsefish? That's why.
Yes.
You wonder that, despite the fact that there's no horsefish in Greek mythology. That's why, because originally they came from Proto-Indo-European mythology, but the Greeks didn't have the horsefish story, so they just looked at the Mesopotamians and were like, "Hey, we're going to take this now, and we'll figure out the details later." And then never figured out the details. The only things that are similar to Egyptian mythology are surface details, like, oh, wait, look, they both have sky fathers. They both have sky fathers, Ra and Zeus. Therefore, it has to be a ripoff. I'm like, every mythology has a sky father.
Yeah.
Or
At least one.
well,
At least one.
well, look at this. Horus cut off Set's genitalia, and Zeus did the same thing to Kronos. I'm like, yeah, again, lots of mythology have that. It's almost like gelding your opponent was seen as a power move back then in multiple cultures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I'm ranting about this, but people
again, we done did rants this whole podcast. Please go ahead.
Have at it.
The best you can do is say that because modern Greeks are younger than the Egyptian pantheon, you're like, oh, well, maybe they took some influence from them later on once they discovered each other. And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine, but saying that they ripped off their mythology wholesale is completely ignorant. Like, the closest you get to a Greek claiming that is all the way back with, I want to say, Herodotus, when he wrote about the Egyptians, and even he was mistaken, because he was like, hey, I think that the Egyptians gods are Greek gods, and they took them from us, except for Heracles, who I think might possibly be their god Horus adapted. But that doesn't make sense either, because Heracles, as far as most modern day researchers can tell, Heracles is based on Gilgamesh, but a better person.
Because I never knew that. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, and if you really want to see it, just take a look at Indian mythology, especially the word that's really hard to say, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but especially some of their tales of the gods, and be like, huh, this sounds exactly like Greek mythology with just different people in the roles. Then again, the way a lot of Indian mythology works is they might actually be the Greek gods in disguise, because according to Indian mythology, everyone is just another form of everyone else.
Reincarnation.
It's not even reincarnation. Like, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu are the same person, but are separate people and can talk to each other.
I've heard something like that before, like very briefly, but I heard something to that effect before, like when it comes to like deities or whatever. So I mean, it's kind of sort of, and I know this is like more like way more fantasy based, but it's kind of like how, if you're familiar with the Percy Jackson books, they basically have like a distinction between the Greek versions and the Roman versions. And like they're the same people, but like the personalities are different, because it's like different civilizations that worship the same god differently.
Right.
Yeah, and that actually brings up another really good point. Here's the crazy thing about the Roman mythology. They didn't just steal Greek mythology, they stole a whole bunch of different people's mythology and then mixed it up real nice in a blender.
Yeah.
Mhm. Now that I know. That I know. That I
Like,
know.
like it's not just like it has some of their own native gods, it has some Indian gods, it has some actual African gods, and it has a bunch of Greek gods, and they're just like, yeah, we're just going to take something from each one of the cultures we conquered. Like, hey, we conquered you, so your gods are our gods now. We're just going to mix them all together real nice, and there we have
Shuffle them up.
mythology. Mhm.
Shuffle them up.
Like,
Put 'em out.
you gotta give the Romans a little bit of credit. They did such a good job at it. We still refer to Heracles by his Roman name of Hercules.
I just like how it sounds. It sounds better to me. That's all I say.
It
Yeah,
sounds
I
better
know
to
the
you
difference.
because
Like Hercules, and to me, when you say it, like when you pronounce it, it sounds better than Heracles. That's why I continue to say Hercules.
I get that, and I'd argue it just sounds better because your brain is used to it. So
Yeah, that's
all,
exactly. I block
Yeah.
out Heracles. I block it out.
I mean,
I don't like how it sounds.
I mean, especially if you grew up watching like Hercules: The Legendary Journey.
That's it. Which
was like
I
Kevin
love, by the
Sorbo.
way. We're not gonna go into it, but I love that damn show. Okay,
I
I
have
had a lot
such-
of goddamn
I have-
issues, but I loved it.
I have such conflicted
Him and Xena.
about,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have such
Luke
conflicted
Xena-
feelings
Xena
about
just
the show.
inserted herself into Greek mythology. She just inserted herself into everything. You know what I'm like, but hey, why not?
Yeah, I have
Why
no
not?
idea where she spent her entire thing just going into other
Just-
mythologies and murdering
Right.
gods.
She basically just put herself into every single Greek mythology story that you know. Xena put herself in it and was like the reason that story happened. That's literally
Yeah,
what
and then she was like, oh, I'm bored. And then she got bored hanging out with the Greeks.
And her character just took
And then she
off.
got bored hanging out with the Greeks, so she started murdering Celtic gods. And then
Yes,
she wound up in Christianity in one season. I'm just like,
yes.
and then like
Everywhere.
when she started fighting like actual literal angels and demons, I'm like, okay, we've skipped some steps here.
Listen, I think she ended up dying because she ended up in Japanese like Japanese mythology. She ended up in that. And I was like, wait, you a samurai?
But yeah, there's
What the heck?
Yeah, Xena was a globetrotter, G. Like,
but yeah, what I was saying, to get back to my original point, there's a
Sorry, go ahead.
there's a clear bloodline from the Proto-Indo-European myth to Mycenaean Greek myths and Indian myths splitting off, and then once the Mycenaean Greeks got involved, that's where we get the classical Greek myths from. Because Mycenaean Greece is ancient Greece to ancient Greece.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a whole complicated thing that I don't have time to go into. But let's just say like the BC times were wild.
And like
Also,
we had talked about this briefly before we started the podcast about how, and I don't know if you want to go into this at all, Terry, but we had talked about where some people believe that since Africa is the origin of life and Egypt is in Africa, then that means that everything got stolen. You know what I'm saying, including mythology. But
I understand that, but the problem with that is the only way that would work is if you would claim that all these stories had a clear 1-to-1 bloodline from the Ice Age, when everyone started emigrating from Africa during the Ice Age, once the land bridges were starting to break up, to through the Bronze Age into through the Bronze and Iron Ages into what is currently referred to as antiquity, which is recorded history as we know it today, like ancient Greece and stuff. And that is incredibly unlikely. Like, it is incredibly unlikely for those stories to have survived that long. Like, I'm going to give them credit. It's possible, but it's unlikely. Like, I'd need 2 sheets of paper to write all the zeros.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, the thing is that there are so many things that we probably don't even know about that was lost to history.
Mm-hmm.
And
true. Like,
just so many things. Just so much.
Yeah, like the only reason why we know about what we know about Gilgamesh, the only reason why we know about that is because a select few of the stone tablets survived, and even then we're missing big chunks of the picture because like a third of the story is just lost to time forever because the stone tablets were either destroyed or lost.
Right.
And we only know about Beowulf because one single copy of Beowulf survived.
Beowulf.
Beowulf. That fucking guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good grief.
We all had to read that.
Jesus Christ. I read that. I read his story in Middle English in college, and I was like, "This fucking dude, are you serious?"
Really,
Good grief.
That's
I read
weird
middle.
because-
Yeah, I took Middle English. in
No, I'm
college.
just saying it's weird because Beowulf is written in Old English, like that Germanic stuff, like before the Latins and the French got their hands on English.
Mhm.
Yeah. For the record,
English. So
for the record, the current modern English we speak is a bastardization of the original Germanic English mixed with Latin, and then mixed with French, and then mixed with Spanish.
Well,
And then with little pocket changes of loan words from other languages thrown in, because to this day we are still stealing words from other languages. I mean, thanks. Hey, Japan, thanks for the word tsunami. We're just keeping that. We're not giving that back.
man, I just want to learn. I just want to learn how to speak Jamaican patois and call it a day at this point. Like,
Yeah,
I just
patois is
like to me, like they have like the coolest dialect ever, dude. It's literally like an amalgamation of just different stuff, dude.
yeah, it's like if I remember correctly, it's like English mixed with certain other language, mixed with certain Caribbean languages, with some of their own languages.
If I remember correctly, last time I looked it up, it was like Spanish, Arabic, a little bit of French, and West African. If I
That
remember.
was it. Thank you.
wow.
Yeah. Jamaica had a lot of. Yeah, that makes sense for Jamaican patois to be like that. Jamaica, unfortunately, has a history of a lot of different groups just running through it. Like, this is our town, this is our town, this is our town.
Yeah.
Then again, most of the world has that history now. Thanks.
Right.
Look, the white man.
No, hold on.
And that's how it all ends. It all starts with, look, the white man. Who are those? And then that's it. And then it ends.
Yeah. Oh, no, you know what? I'm going to be fair. Since I'm going to be fair, since they weren't the only ones doing it. So thanks, Europe, and thanks, Arab Emirates during the 1300s. Really appreciate that. Yeah. No. That's just exactly what we needed. We were just minding our own business in our villages, and you guys were like, "Hey, have you heard the good word of Jesus / Allah?" No. Sink. Wanna? Well,
That's a whole nother
I don't think I have a
podcast.
choice.
That's a whole nother
really
podcast about how basically how Christianity literally. I don't even want to talk about it. And Muslim. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about. Y'all know where I'm going with it. I don't want to talk about it, but it's a whole nother podcast.
That's like a 3-part podcast.
Yes, it's just. It's really crazy. It's like it. So I was. This is kind of related, but not really. But I recently, and this is what is it? I think it's work nonfiction based on fiction or whatever, or historical fiction. But I had recently started getting into like Vikings. Right. So from the History Channel. So I have to admit, I don't know a lot of Norse mythology. I know the basics, but I don't really know, about Viking people, life, whatever. So I had started watching it again. And just in that, just how Christianity and kind of how there was the part in, I forget what season it was, but where the brother kind of, how basically how they like didn't trust you unless you converted, and how Christianity literally swept in so many places. And somebody had made in the show had made a observation about how, at one point in time, we were worshiping multiple gods too, because obviously everybody's coming from everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And all that, like we were pagans too. And we had it kind of like forced on us, and now we're forcing it on other people. But who's to say that that's what we're supposed to be doing? I mean, it's a whole thing. And obviously we all know the stories throughout history and different civilizations and cultures, but it's just crazy about just the spread and like how it happened.
It is.
The war is. Again, I don't want to go super into it. That was my little thing.
Ironically, thank you for bringing up Christianity, because that actually leads to my next thing. Last week we promised Yeah, last week we promised that I was going to read Ezekiel chapter 1, so I would finally put the meme to bed and tell you guys exactly what the biblical description of angels looks like. So if my internet would stop being slow and I could, if the internet keeps being slow, I'm just going to pick up my actual Bible. Oh nope, no. It must have heard me talking.
He's like, yes, sir.
It must have heard me talking. All right, so everyone ready?
Yep.
Skipping down. Here we go. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. This is what angels, specifically cherubs or living beings, are described in the Bible. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fires were what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands. All four of them had faces and wings, and the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each went straight ahead. They did not turn as they moved. Their faces looked like this. Each of the 4 had the face of a human being, and on the right side, each had the face of a lion, and on the left, the face of an ox, and on the back, each had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. They each had 2 wings spreading out upward, each wing touching that of the creature on either side, and each had 2 other wings covering its body. Each one went straight ahead. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, without turning as they went. The appearance of these living creatures was like burning coals of fire or like torches. Fire moved back and forth among the creatures. It was bright, and lightning flashed out of it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. As I looked at these living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creatures face. The wheels did not change directions as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. When the living creatures moved, their wheels moved beside them. And when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in those wheels. Yeah, he kind of repeats himself a couple more times, and I think I get it, because I feel like he's just freaking out, and he's trying to explain to a crowd, and he's trying to say, I'm not crazy.
I feel like he just took shrooms before he wrote that.
Listen, you ever
called on the wings?
Listen, right? Like I'd have been somebody who, like, he would have been describing it to me, and I've been like, wait a minute, people think angels are beautiful, like Ezekiel. Zeke, do you understand what you just described to me, sir? Like what?
And
what?
enter the Romans, where they just make human angels with white dove wings.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the Romans did that because they're just so used to making Greek gods beautiful. They're just so used to making gods and figures of worship beautiful, and then they heard the description of angels, were like, yeah, so
we ain't gonna tell people that. We're not using that, right? Ain't nobody gonna listen to us. We start talking about foreheads and eyes underneath wings and hands
and hands.
Calf feet. We ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. It's just like I just kind of imagine. I understand he's a prophet, so we're supposed to have that figure of him with dignity. But no, I'm pretty sure he's like the faces.
He was I wouldn't know what to do.
I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do. Then they come down, if they point at you, I'd be like, nah.
And now we finally understand why in the Bible angels always go, fear not, when they show up. Because,
there's a lot of fear in that description.
How? You look like a Final Fantasy villain right now.
Exactly. bro.
I'm sorry, but if an angel came down looking like that and said, fear not to me, I'd be like, I'd just be like, I'm sorry.
Be looking like, how? Because you are frightening me right now.
This gonna be me. Like, they're gonna be saying, I'm gonna be like, and I'm just gonna pull up my phone because ain't nobody gonna believe me, and I'm just gonna record. And then I hope that the sound of their voice doesn't blow my eardrums out. Because I'm just gonna be like this with
squeaky voice. Just can you repeat those instructions? I couldn't hear the sound of me voiding my bowels in fear.
Like what, sir? What? No, I don't want to. No. You've been chosen. No. No.
You just look at the angel and go like, so you're the good guy?
Right, like
So if an angel was like, "Come with me if you want to live," you like, "I'm just gonna die. I'm good."
you know
It's
what?
like,
I probably would go because I'm like, hey, you caught up in the Terminator. I got that reference. Like, Cap, I understood that reference. I might trust them. I might trust them if they could give me like
I'm
they give me like a modern culture
there's a-
reference, pop culture reference. I
we
might
trust
be-
you. Okay, you seen Terminator. You're right. Okay.
there's a joke. There's a joke.
You
there's a
good. You
joke-
good. You good. Sorry.
There's
You know
joke
Arnold.
among my-
Okay.
There's a joke among my Christian writer friends that the only real difference between an angel and a demon is the demon isn't trying to hide how scary it is anymore. The demon's just like, well, I got kicked out of heaven, so I'm just not going to worry about terrifying you anymore. And you're like, you know what? That's honest. That's fair.
I mean, we've seen worse stuff on like YouTube. So
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
like
Like,
the
we've
thing
seen worse
is,
stuff on YouTube.
the thing that would freak me out the most, like I know this is just a minor thing, but the thing that would freak me out the most is the fact they apparently just have like not whole arms, but just like hands under their wings.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm saying. It's like you got these big ass wings and there's four, and then you just got they under your armpit, like they just like this.
That's
Just like that. That's weird.
like I'm just no.
And it's on fire.
It's so funny because like every time I think about that, I always go back to the first time I played Bayonetta, and I was like, I was always tripping because like, damn, am I legit fighting actual angels here? And it was like it was just so weird. And then I came across that biblical angel meme like earlier this year, and I was like, damn, I thought that game was kidding.
No. Angels are terrifying. Like I'm pretty sure. Like the reason why they say fear not is because they know if they don't say that, the person's just going to be screaming for the next 10 minutes.
Listen, they gotta come better. They gotta come better than some of them fear not. It's 2020.
Right.
Okay, if an angel come down, he gotta assume another form for me. Like, just get me used to it. You know
Something like I mean, like dude,
yeah,
like,
this ain't gonna work.
You
Fear
gotta
not
come
ain't
to
gonna work.
that I'm cool with. Like you can't just spring that on me with
right. Nah.
Like
it's kind of ironic.
Like
you know how in Greek mythology how Cupid hid himself from Psyche because he was afraid that she would be scared, so he would just like come at night, get some, and then in the daytime go off somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like angel would have to like.
I know did all that. Greek mythology. Now I didn't know that.
Hey, you know what's really ironic? I find cards on the table. I find the biblical description of angels more terrifying than anything Lovecraft ever wrote.
Right.
Because with Lovecraft stuff, it's like, oh yeah, dragon squid. Yeah, that's intimidating. With angels, I'm just like, I don't understand how you function. Well, like the fact that they say that they don't turn as they move means like they're going like left and right while staring directly at you. So it's just like,
I saw that in a video game once. It was terrifying.
It's kind of like when they did that stare in Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
when, like they just look in one place, don't move, but the car's going like 80 miles an hour. Like,
yeah.
Oh, when you did the look,
they pulled the Fast and the angelic version.
You are supposed to be impressed by this.
General question, really quick, because I just finished watching Blood of Zeus recently, so and I don't know how accurate they were to it or whatever. I mean, obviously mythology, but I was just curious. Now, Hermes,
Zeus did fuck that girl.
Hermes was
accurate.
Oh yeah, Hermes is a bastard. He was, if I remember correctly, Hermes was the child. If I remember correctly, Hermes was the child of a mortal, and Artemis and Apollo were the children of a Titan. Or maybe I got that mixed up. I checked. I grabbed my book and check, but we don't have time for that. But yeah, like out of all the Olympians, the first 5, because disclaimer, despite what popular media tells you, Hades was not an Olympian. I don't know how many times I had to say this. He was not. They worshipped him differently. He didn't have a house on Olympus. He was the lord of the underworld. Poseidon had a house on Olympus, therefore he was Olympian. Hades was like, nope, not dealing with you. I love y'all, my brothers, and I love you, but I am not seeing y'all again. I'm just like, y'all gave me the underworld. That's fine. I'm just gonna stay in the underworld and do my job. I will visit y'all. I will see y'all when we have to fight the giants, but other than that, y'all can kick rocks.
See, and then that's another reason why. So I kind of like Blood of Zeus, but I didn't, because Hermes was a bastard, definitely. And I don't know if his mother was a human or a nymph. I feel like his mother was a nymph, but I can't remember.
I remember one. Look. Zeus had a lot of kids and a lot
exactly.
Dude, I love the episode when Hera confronts him about it, and he was just like trying to play it off like it's like, girl, don't worry about it. Like,
how about the fact that Apollo goes through the Hera's, minding her business, looking from the mountain and sees a yellow light. She was like, that motherfucker, and then here Apollo and Zeus do a fucking switch, and then she goes, wait, Zeus, wait, the light's still there. Like, so we got the kids. You know what I'm saying? Now the kids is filling in for Zeus. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look. I'm gonna be honest.
I hated it. I hated it.
I'm gonna be honest here.
I didn't hate it. I just that story is tired to me. It's just it's tired. She gets mad that he has another kid and wants to like kill all of humanity. Zeus, I'm sorry, Hera. It ain't gonna happen again. Hera, okay, you want to prove to me you sorry? Kill it. Cut his head off. Kill the baby. Why?
Hera's just petty,
Hera the problem. Why the boy got to die?
Okay.
Hera was just petty at that point, bro.
I can't believe I'm about to say that. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to defend Hera for half a second. The reason why she's
no, you ain't got to defend Hera. I feel Hera. I felt it.
No.
I understood.
I'm saying the reason why she's always like this and always wild is because she's literally the goddess of marriage and fidelity.
Yeah.
So being the goddess of marriage and fidelity, this is a slight against her personally. It's not just cheating. I mean, notice you never have any stories about Poseidon's wife, oh my god, how do you pronounce her name? Amphitryon? Amphidon?
Whatever her name is. Yeah, we know her.
Despite Poseidon being just as big of a rapist man whore as his brother Zeus, you don't get any stories of Amphidon getting pissed off because she's not the goddess of fidelity in marriage. She's just stuck like this in a broken marriage.
I understand it, but at the same time, you know who your husband is. So,
that's true. And that is,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know who he is. So
and once again, we have to give a shout out to Persephone for being the only one to get the one husband who
didn't cheat. Oh my god. The one dude who loved her more than life itself and did not cheat.
And then of course the other faithful god Hephaestus, whose wife is a whore.
Oh my god!
No. Well, hold on. He was faithful until he caught her cheating with Ares. He strung them up in a net.
I get it.
He strung them up in a net. She swore, if you let me out of this net, I will never cheat on you again. He lets her out of the net. Not only does she go back to sleeping with Ares, she sleeps with Poseidon and Hermes too. So Hephaestus was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start sleeping with mortals. Like, apparently this is just what we're doing now. I have a broken heart. I need something to fill this void.
Ares is kind of fine though, so I get it. Like, I haven't seen a bad looking Ares yet. I'm just gonna say that.
I mean, anyway, him being physically attractive does not detract from the point that he.
I get it. I'm just saying. I get it. That's all I'm.
Yeah.
I mean, God of War Ares was a little rough around the gills, though. He was kind of looking like Endeavor, so it was
and wasn't it? He did not have a good. Wasn't it Ares? He did not have a good depiction in Wonder Woman. They did not choose the right actor to play Ares.
But
in the Wonder Woman.
Here's the thing I like about.
He was kind of goofy. Here's the
thing I like about Eros/Cupid. Like mythology always refers to him. Like they say that he's most likely Aphrodite and Ares' son, but Aphrodite passes him as Hephaestus' son. But I like the fact that in a lot of mythology, and in my personal writings as well as a lot of mythology that I base it on, it's implied that Hephaestus knows he's not his kid, but neither one of them care. Because, Hephaestus was the one who actually raised him. That's his dad.
Right.
Like, so that's why whenever I write Eros, he refers to Hephaestus as dad, and he refers to Ares as, oh, you.
That's
All
dysfunction.
right.
That's dysfunction in the highest form, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Greek mythology, baby. Liz, it's never a dull moment in Greek mythology. Never.
Never. That's why it's always so
Never.
interesting.
Never.
All right.
Never.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment. Yeah.
Greek mythology is basically the mythological version of the Deep South. Norse mythology are drunk frat boys.
Yes.
It's like
I agree with that.
It's like the Deep South, but with more drinking and fighting, and they pretend to be classier. Like Norse,
That's probably why they. That's probably why the fraternities are the way they are, and that makes sense.
Yes,
it makes sense.
And Aztec mythology is just.
We don't have the light-skinned god here to dispute that, so we
don't.
Look, I mean, look, Jensen, if you watch this, we not like outright including you, but we just saying, fam.
But as much as I know, because as much as I know that Jensen drinks, you might be on it.
Yeah.
She said that. I mean,
like that. Hold up. I don't want no part of this. Put that man business out there like that. Hold up.
And
I don't want to be a part of this.
And Aztec mythology is basically just a bunch of horror stories. It's just basically just a bunch of horror stories loosely put together into a religion. It's like if you're an Aztec, they're just gonna be like, "Hey, we need blood sacrifices so the sun will be strong enough to fight off the moon and stars, which are cosmic horrors trying to eat us." You're like, "Wait, didn't you just say the harvest god needs blood sacrifices so he can have enough energy to fight off the earth spirit to grant a good harvest?" Yes. And didn't you say that the earth itself is a giant eldritch horror that the gods killed but still alive, and we need blood to keep it asleep? Yes. How many more blood sacrifices do you need? Okay, look, I'm not going to lie to you. Our entire pantheon is basically ran around how many people we can sacrifice. We're going to run out of people. No, we're not, because we have a plan. We're going to conquer other tribes and use their people as the blood sacrifice so we can stop killing our people. Or we can stop worshiping, or we can stop worshiping gods that demand blood sacrifices. Oh man, now you're talking crazy.
No, that's heresy. We're gonna keep doing with the blood sacrifice because that's what we're doing. I'm just saying. Now you sounding a little out there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep with the blood sacrifices. They ain't let us wrong yet. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Well, that's all my rant.
All right. We had a great show. This was a good show. Once again, we went to 2 hours. I was trying to hold it, but we had a lot, and my rant probably took up a whole lot of it because I had to get that.
Had a blast. It's all right.
Or whatever. So let's go ahead and do these final thoughts. Toku Terry, go ahead and you start us off with your final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts again. While all people come from Africa, and while Egypt is older than Greece had their own mythology before they established contact with Egypt. Cut that out. Stop being hoteps. Yeah. I really hope the Metal Gear movie is good. Unfortunately, the best way for it to do, they're going to have to cut out some of the more confusing aspects of Metal Gear, because if they try to keep it all in, the crowds would riot. Nintendo, get your stuff together. Just put it in a box, in a suitcase or something. Just get it together. HBO Max, I don't care what you do as long as you help strike a hard blow against the intolerant and psychotic practices of Hollywood. Do what you gotta do. I'm behind you. But once Hollywood's destroyed, we're coming for you too. The guillotine has many blades.
Damn, I'm gonna have to do a parental advisory thing on this podcast. This is extreme podcast, extreme version.
I mean,
you guys knew how leftist my ideals were when you befriended me.
May contain trigger words like guillotine, eyes underneath wings, and we hate Nintendo right now. So please be advised. Fallen Marvel, what are your final thoughts?
Final
I
thoughts.
mi-
Look, Greek mythology is just like in general, it's so many different variations of it. I'd say if you're probably younger than 20, you didn't grow up with a lot of the stuff that we on the podcast grew up with that made us love Greek mythology. But take our advice, sample the stuff. It's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. It's very interesting stuff. Sample
Mm-hmm.
everything. Don't just that. Just sample everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the as far as the Metal Gear movie goes, so far a lot seems like it's going the way it should. There's still a lot that they have to add on to it, obviously, but Kojima possibly being a part of it is a step in the right direction. I just hope that some of the other rumors that we've been hearing also turn out to be true. Um, and just hopefully, it's they just hopefully Sony Pictures in general just helps break the video game movie curse, even though technically they're still bringing out Monster Hunter. So, but I'm not going to get into that. All we can do is just hope. Um, is Nintendo? Look, Nintendo. Look, I'm trying to root for you. I'm trying to root for you. Okay, like my first console was an NES. Okay, I'm trying to root for you, but y'all gotta stop. Like, just stop. Just stop, please. Like y'all really don't understand like how deep of a fan base y'all got, like as far as the older gamers, okay? Like y'all really don't know because y'all are alienating your own fan base. Stop it, please. Ugh, anyway,
Lord.
besides that, HBO Max. Look, it's a lot of crazy stuff that's been going on with AT&T/Warner Media this year alone. So this slate, it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. And it's definitely going to be interesting like once COVID clears up. So we definitely be seeing what take place on there and when that's all over with. So but yeah, just hopefully it doesn't end a lot of theaters that I go to. AMC, while I understand they mad, AMC is kind of trash though. But other than that, I don't want to see the theater chains go because there are still some favorite ones in my area that I like to go to. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just hope they survive after this, man, because it's been a rough year, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's all for me.
And Cassio, your final thoughts.
Oh, um, yeah, no, I love Greek mythology. I wish I actually got more into that literature. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, younger, I would know more, and I've always thought the stories to be interesting. So I probably should have got more into it. Now I hearing about it, and I'm like, yeah, I remember those stories, but I didn't really delve into those characters. But
Mm-hmm.
since you got Terry here, which is a master at mythology, you know what I'm saying? It's good to really listen to him talk about it. So yeah, that's my thing on mythology. I'm not really that versed on Nintendo thing, but like Nintendo is a huge company, and I kind of feel like they've been like a powerhouse, kind of like Disney for a long time. So I can't really expect them to do anything rather than what they've been doing. And I have no idea, also, Black Mamba, why they don't just produce like their games in their systems and their consoles in bulk because they always run out. They're always
Mm-hmm.
scarce. Scalpers always love when a Nintendo thing comes out because they can get their hands on it
Mm-hmm.
and then sell it for almost twice as much. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo, just up your production. We know you got the money. Just up your production. Like
Right.
just up the production, you know what I'm saying, of the things that you put out, make sure everybody can get their hands on a Switch and everything else. Just up your production. You guys been doing this every single year. You release something, and then later on, something like this, the Switch right now has a newfound popularity. So it's
Yep.
scarce, but I
Yep.
mean, Nintendo has the ability to up the production right now, make
Mm-hmm.
more. You know what I'm saying? So everybody can get their hands on one, and we ain't got to see. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's this kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing when you get the community versus the company. It's just
Mm-hmm.
we need each other. So let's you know what I'm saying, make sure like we're moving forward in like in congruency. But the last thing I want to talk about is I'm still excited for the Metal Gear Solid movie. I mean, I knew it'd happen one day. I'm excited. I don't know. They're really starting to give a lot of respect to video game movies. I think once Sonic the Hedgehog kind of made the money it made, and people are kind of like, oh, well, maybe we can take stories and then make, you know what I'm saying, like films that can make us money from them. So I
forgot about Sonic.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this film because it's something I've been waiting for you know what I'm saying, for over a decade, for like, you know, this kind of brilliance to be put in a film, like in a film. And I'm gonna say too, if they ain't got the opening, I was trying to find the song that dun, 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 dun.
You know it's gonna be in there somewhere. You know it's going to be in there somewhere.
If it don't happen, it ain't even real. It ain't real. I
They
better see
also
that.
gotta have one moment. They also gotta have like one moment with them like calling for Snake, thinking he's dead.
Sorry.
Yeah, at least once. At least once.
See, and they better have Gray Fox talking about hurt me more. I better see every single one of them things done correctly. I better get Lobby to beat Gray Fox.
I predict two out of these three things are going to happen.
Together.
I'll take it.
I predict two out of these three things are going to happen. I honestly think it's going to be the music and the yelling Snake because they think he dead. It's going to be. That's my two. Those are my two things that I think they're going to
word.
They have to.
And look, if they don't have like a spy movie kind of a like soundtrack, like almost like Snake Eater had. If they don't have that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like
Snake Eater was awesome.
Come on, man. I'm still in a dream, Snake Eater.
Lord.
That was my shit.
Awesome.
I don't even care what nobody.
You hear that Raven in the voice? That boy with the tracks right there. That's what I'm saying.
Boy, I never said I could sing, but I don't care. It's like Snake Eater was my jam, man. I don't care what y'all talking about, man. They presented that as a spy movie. They presented that like he was James Bond in his own right. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm just
James Bond, that's shitty.
I've been enjoying these films for years, man. Now they gonna make a movie out of it. I mean, it's like on some realness, man. Like this is a time to be alive as a nerd, man. You get to see your stuff on film, dude. All these years you've been sitting here. Sorry, go ahead.
But then I find out that they made a MacGyver remake, and I'm sad. So it might just depend on how long you've been a nerd. Because now I'm like, oh, it looks whack. It looks whack, and we're gonna talk about that another time. So really quick. So my final thoughts are my whole final thought could be dedicated to Nintendo, but since I had like a whole 20-minute rant against Nintendo. Okay, I'm gonna do like one more minute. So my rant against Nintendo. So Nintendo, I just need you to get it together. Okay, like y'all got 3 consoles out where only one of them does something that the other 2 don't. Okay, the DS and the Switch Lite is the same fucking system. Just gonna say it. Okay, I hate it. Okay, you do something about these sale prices. Do something about these sale prices. I hate it. You know what I'm saying? I just need y'all to get it together because as long y'all are older than Xbox and Sony as far as consoles. Y'all been making games forever. Y'all should have been the first to have a connected community. Like even though I know most of the games weren't like that, but still. Y'all have had more than enough time to figure this shit out. So the fact that you're behind, you know what I'm saying, in terms of those kinds of things is kind of unacceptable. And I just need y'all to do better, in those regards. Make me want to put more on the Switch console, as far as that's concerned. You know what I'm saying? I have to admit, I am looking, especially listening to Cassio's hype. Like I definitely am kind of hyped for the Metal Gear movie. We'll see what happens with it, as more casts come out, that might increase my hype, in terms of that. I super love Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology. So when we talked about this, I really, really, really liked it. And I learned a lot of things from Toku Terry, obviously. But it's one of those, I agree with Fallen Marble. If you're somebody who hasn't really read it, we're kind of in the woke age, you know what I'm saying? And Greek mythology is like the white man's story. You know what I'm saying? Listen, just read it. Okay, forget what you heard, forget what you might think. Greek mythology, in my mind, is a genre. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, it never gets old. There is a story for everybody. literally. You know what I'm saying? So just give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? It's just
kind of receiving this big renaissance now, mostly because like stuff like Lore Olympus and Punderworld.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
also-
agree. It's breathing new life into it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? In some kind of ways. So, definitely with that. And obviously I say this every podcast and I'm gonna say it this time too. COVID is real. Be safe, be healthy, stop treating it like it's a trend or like, yes, we know inflation may be happening here and there, and that's a whole nother argument. But the point is that the disease itself the epidemic itself is real and it's happening. So just whatever you decide to do, be safe. I haven't decided if I really want to go see Wonder Woman in a movie, but then I'm COVID paranoid, kind of. But I really love the movie, and I've been looking forward to this movie since it got announced. And I'm gonna say it again. I just really hope Wonder Woman. I just feel like will always have this 1984 will just always have this asterisk next to it, unfortunately. And I just really hope that COVID doesn't mess up the Wonder Woman movie legacy. Like I'm hoping that people will see it, whether it's on HBO Max or in person, and hopefully that will lead hype to the third and final, movie in the trilogy. And I just hope that the popularity stays, even though it may be coming out on HBO Max. So that's really what I'm hoping, is that it will still be awesome. Hopefully, if the movie is great, what I'm saying, it shouldn't matter, but we all know money is important, what I'm saying? And so I just really hope that it still does well regardless. So those are my quick final thoughts. So really quick before we go, Toku Terry, you want to plug your book one last time?
One last time, while we're talking about Greek mythology, if you like Greek mythology and you like hearing the way I joke about it, please buy my book, The 21st Century Guide to Mythology, Greek Myths Retold. Now available for Kindle and paperback on Amazon. Links in the description.
I love it. See, next time, see, I'm gonna have a book soon, Toku Terry, and then while you advertise it, I'm just gonna hold it up. I'm gonna be like Vanna White. That's my Vanna White pose. That's what I'm gonna do. So all right, y'all. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and sign out. We love you guys. We thank you guys for being a fan of the podcast. Once again, you can check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, which is Planet Extraordinary Journey of a Black Nerd. You can also check us out on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Again, if you just search EJOBN or Planet EJOBN, it'll pop us right up. And you can listen to us while you do your chores, while you cut the grass, while you're driving to the stove, when you're having a party. y'all are supposed to smile like everybody. Right? Thank you, Cassio.
I am smiling.
Okay, ready? And when you having a party. We're gonna get that together.
I wasn't sure.
We're gonna get that together.
We will fix that.
The flashing light at the Paul. I didn't see it. I'm so sorry.
And then I need to have Fallen Marvel with the Megatron. Do as I command. I need that voice up in there. So
Quick question. I didn't see just quick question. I know I'm off topic, whatever. I didn't see the beginning of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. In the beginning, did they do the thing where he ran back and forth and it said Sega? Did that happen?
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
It didn't happen.
It didn't.
It didn't.
They want the real movie.
They missed that opportunity.
It wasn't a real movie then. Never mind.
But we got little kid Sonic, so that kind of made up for it a little bit.
I got you. What did
Wait, Tails?
Jaleel White?
Tails?
Did he do the voice?
Tails?
No.
It wasn't even a real Sonic movie then. Never mind.
Stinger.
Kid Sonic.
Tails in the Stinger. Anyway,
that lets you know how long it was since I played Sonic. I
gotta go. So I gotta go. All right, I gotta go.
All right, everybody. So we'll see you guys next week. Okay.
All right. Stay safe. Stay awesome. Bye.